Today, me and hubby are burning up the brush pile that is all along our ravine where the brush hog can't get. And we're burning a little bit of other stuff too, just to clean up the property some. We're trying to clear out around the old chicken coop because next week I'm going to start working on that. But I want to show you some of the other things that we've been doing around the farm that I haven't had a chance to video. Come along with me. One of the first things that we had to do is get the lagoon fenced in. Rosie jumped out of the truck, flew down the hill, and jumped in the lagoon. So I had to give her a really good bath. And Jay immediately went to work fixing the lagoon. And I'll take you down here and show you how he did that. So as you can see, he just put fence posts all the way around. And then put the small square fence, I'm not sure what that's called. He probably knows, and he's not here right now. But he put that around so that Rosie couldn't get in, and any other animals either. His one problem was, though, the lagoon is so uneven that when he come around here, it was higher, as you can see right here. And that's driving him nuts, but I don't know how he would change that or make it any different. I plan on planting some like vining flowers, maybe even my cucumbers down here in containers, because as you can see, I mean, it's clay. We live on a limestone rock that's filled with clay. The next thing that we had not planned on was needing more water line. So he had to actually buy a heated water hose. We have one, but it wasn't long enough. You know, when it isn't this far at the campground when you park your RV there. So we did have to buy one of those. And our regular sewer pipe, you know, the scrunchy one, there was not enough downgrade from where our camper sits to the sewer. So he had to come back through with this PVC pipe and hook into that. So we would have a gradual downward drain into the line that goes to our sewer. Otherwise, in the wintertime, it would have froze up. So if you're thinking about being in an RV, be sure and consider that. You know, in the wintertime, those lines will freeze up if they are not draining clearly. One of the pressing things that we needed to get done is to underpin around the camper. If you are living in your camper year-round, you truly want to do this. It does cut down on the draftiness, and it also keeps you warmer for longer in between cycles of your furnace. So last year we had just been putting it up and taping it up. This year, since we are long ways and we know that we've got some wind both directions coming at us, in the campground we were backed into a hole, and really wind was just not an issue for us, even during the middle of a storm. But because we are in a different place, and hopefully this will stand the weather, for the winter at least, Jay has actually built a framework for this foam.
They told me that they had them in stock, gave me a price, and told me they had enough of them. When I got there, they did not.
So you ended up having to go 30 minutes up the road and ended up paying a lot less. But like you said, what's your time worth, right? And we are two-toned this year, just because we wanted to use up the same stuff from last year. Of course, when we moved the camper, all the dimensions changed, so everything had to be recut. These pieces right here were actually some leftover from some friends that had left the campground, and they still had sheets, so we grabbed them. They went to Texas, where they aren't going to have to worry about any of this. But this is something that we did not have on the camper when we were in the campground. He literally enclosed this front area and made like a garage in there, like a little extra storage. And he created a door where we can get in and put my barbecue grill, maybe our summer clothes I am going to store in there. But I thought that was pretty neat of him. We forgot to, out of all the lines that we had to bury down here, we forgot that we were actually going to need a gas line. And so Hubby had to get out here with a pick and pick through 4 inches of gravel and down into the dirt zone to run this gas line from the camper way up here at the front to the back, where we have the 250-gallon propane tank that we bought earlier. Hubby's been working with one of our really good friends, and he so happened to have some of this really heavy-duty black pipe. He recommended that we use this. He has a campsite area with several other people up on Pomme de Terre. They just have a private deal, and they have found that this works really good. It's a very heavy-duty plastic, and so you could drive over it. It's indestructible, is what he says. So when you have small wires, you can run through it. One of my upcoming projects is to build my compost bins. I'm going to build 2, and I want him to, hopefully this is going to be the length of about his bucket on his tractor, so he can use that to turn it over for me. But there's actually going to be 2 compartments. One compartment I plan on putting this year's compost and keeping it warm and just adding to it until this time next year. The other one, I'm going to pour all the compost that I created whenever I was in the camper. And if you want to see how I did that, there are videos that show how I started my composting way back in the early spring of last year. And it's going to go into the other section, along with all of my potting soil and stuff from all those pots that I had up there at the campground. And then I will cover that with a heavy layer of leaves or straw or something and let it cook all winter long, so it'll be ready for me in the spring when I get ready to start building my raised bed gardens. There were a couple of things that were super important to me to see that got done, and one of those things was to get my blackberry and raspberry starts in the ground. This isn't how it's going to end up. I will have like a bordered area around this just to keep the mulch in, but I did get them in the ground because I was worried that leaving them in the containers would freeze the roots. Cross your fingers, guys, and hope that next year these do better. I am going to put a trellis up and trellis them right behind here. You can see that my tire planters are doing really good. We've been hauling brush out of the woods. My son and I have started making a wildlife nature trail through here, and this is going to be where my wildlife feeding station is. And I just couldn't wait. I got excited, and it's just going to be a work in progress, and it's really something that me and my son are enjoying doing together. So I wanted to show you this. Mixed in, there are wild rose bushes, which I absolutely hate. They overtake everything. This is a wild rose bush. They're very prickly. They have thorns all over them. Mixed in is my wild raspberry bush. And the wild raspberry bush has some pricklies on it, but not very many. And you can tell the difference in their leaves and the wild rose leaves. Also, too, this time of year, a wild raspberry bush actually has a purple stem or a raspberry colored stem. I'm hoping that I can get in here and clean all that rose bush out of there and try to get some rhyme and reason, make some order out of these raspberries, and maybe get them trellised up so that I'll have wild raspberries as well as my tame ones. Right behind me, you can see a little shed that was my very first chicken coop when we moved to the property about 15 years ago. It would have been perfectly good, except I wanted lots of chickens. Big mistake, guys. Don't roll into your homestead and decide to get lots of chickens. Up yonder, and you'll see that sometime later on, my husband actually built me the chicken mansion. And I became sick, had way too many chickens, couldn't take care of them. We're not going to start out that way this time. We're going to start out with a small few chickens, probably just hens at first, and this spring I might introduce a rooster to them. But I'm going to rework this smaller shed because it'll be easier for me to keep them warm this winter. So as you can see, I am wearing one of my new t-shirts. I've already got mine pretty stained up. Probably I'll retire with this one to just being my strictly on the farm work shirt. But I want you to know that I did reach my 100th subscriber this past week. One of my subscribers actually sent me a message and said, "Woohoo, my wife was your 100th subscriber." I cannot for the life of me figure out which person that was. So yeah, it's really exciting that I did reach my goal. Actually on the 12th of November, which was exactly 6 months from the day I started or uploaded my very first YouTube video. And I reached my goal of 100 subscribers. I'm really, really happy about that. And I'm thankful to my subscribers. And I'm thankful for your comments, letting me know that you are there and that you're watching. It's exciting too, because I'm meeting lots of other people that are small homesteaders and small YouTube channels. And we're building such a fantastic YouTube community just among our small selves. If you have not subscribed to my channel, go ahead and subscribe. Please like this video, it does help. Send a comment my way. So, I mean, that's how I know that you're watching my videos, is when I see those comments in my YouTube feeds. For the next video, Homestead Rewind was challenged to a 40-question challenge. And it's a really funny thing. I was challenged by two different people. First, Marella and Chris over at Black Pack Homestead challenged me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I was so excited. And I'm like, we've got to do this, we've got to do this. And then a couple days later, I get a video from two old people on the couch who challenged me. And they were gonna be the ones that I challenged to do the 40 questions, because I really wanna know more about people. So I can't challenge you guys back because we already know what your 40 questions are. Darn it, you challenged me before I could challenge you. But anyway, I asked hubby, I said, hey, do you want to do this challenge with me? It seems like it'd be fun. I am excited because hubby has committed to doing the 40 question challenge with me. So that's going to be the next video that I'm working on. Keep your eyes open. Hopefully these videos will start going faster. I want you to know that I did have a bout with my pernicious anemia, and that slowed me down a little bit. The first time I had felt that electric shock go up my spine in a long time. So that's my warning that I'm overdoing. Gotta slow down. If I don't, if I push through that and keep going, I'll end up in the emergency room every single time. And that's a lesson that I learned from the last time we had the homestead. Not gonna do that again. Anyway, I think it's time for me to wrap up this video. It seems like it's getting long, and you know me, I want 10 to 20 minute videos, so you guys aren't having to take a lot of time when you're busy doing other things. So with that, I will let you go. I love you all. Love and peace to